wants to tame me. You can't catch me on the run, cause I'm gone, yeah. I blaze trails, set fire to what's behind me. No, I'm never looking back, I'm on the run. I could only ever be what I make to be. It feels good when I'm living on the edge. Watch me now, roll like thunder, gonna shake the ground. Can't stop me now, I don't give up and I won't back down. I'm a force of nature, can't be contained. I got lightning running all through my veins. Watch me now, watch me now.
Hi, my name is Wyatt Milam, and I'm from Canova, West Virginia. When I'm back home in Canova, you will find me at my local Par-Mar store.
We had that golden boot pride at Par-Mar. There are literally hundreds of Par-Mar stores in West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, and Pennsylvania, and even more on the way. Download the Par-Mar app to save even more. And whether it's food, gas, groceries, or whatever, we have you covered at Par-Mar. West Virginia proud and ready to serve you.
And if there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon.
Timeouts for the Huskies, down 2 scores. Marchiol rolling left on the money. That throw is pure. He's got his man Preston Slayton again. And that is a catch, but Marchiol is down. Nicco Marchiol is down in a heap near the 35-yard line.
That might be it for him. If I'm Coach Z, I might be putting an end to this. I'm going to protect you from yourself. We're looking at left-handed quarterbacks here. We got a bunch of modern guys, but how about, we got Steve Young, got Mark Brunell. I like that Mark Brunell comparison as he throws a touchdown pass right there. Michael Masunas, the corner of the end zone, delivers a strike. Good job, Nicco Marchiol. Most likely the end of his night.
It's not out of hand anymore. Less than 30 seconds to play. Huskies have a timeout. They start in Bishop Gorman territory. Marchiol to throw. He's got his man complete. Christian Anaya inside the 40.
Got the whole field available to him. Got some timeout, one timeout left.
2 safeties deep. Marchiol sees an open patch of grass and he takes it, slides for the first down.
Seconds left, second down. We got a timeout. Let's see what the Huskies can do.
Here we go. Marchiol, the West Virginia commit, throws a strike over the middle. Touchdown Huskies! 22 yards. Nick Switzer. The impossible has happened in Chandler.
And that's a heck of a throw right there by Nicco Marchiol. They're going wild out here in Hamilton. The question is, do you go for 2? Do you try to pull the coup de grace right here? That guy right there is a warrior. He's spitting out, he's probably spitting out some blood right there. He's got blood running down his elbow. Look for him roll to the left, maybe a throwback to the right.
Nicco Marchiol, the West Virginia commit, rolls to his left. Here comes the pressure. Marchiol for the pylon. He's in. Hamilton leads.
Hey, Nicco Marchiol putting in a day's work. Laying out. I love the call. You get your athletic quarterback to the perimeter. Finding the pylon. He's exhausted. He has every right to be. I know there's...
Oh, yeah. And as my brother Ron Wolfley has always said, if you bring enough dogs in the locker room, even the cats are going to start barking. And I have here Nicco Marchiol, freshman quarterback for the West Virginia University Mountaineers, here on the WolfMan's Call. And Nicco, I'm going to say this, but in terms of football, I'm going to call you a dog. What do you say?
Man, I think you wouldn't be wrong. I think you wouldn't be wrong.
Doesn't mean we don't like cats, so we all know that, right? But that's
right.
it. But in terms of we're a dog, well, my man, it is good to have you. And just going back to that, and I'm going to tell you, what usually, I wait for a young man such as yourself, a young brother, when you get here on campus, you get playing, you get reps, whether it be practice or in game. I'm like, yeah, start to really get the respect. One of the few times I've ever watched high school where I'm like, wow, okay, talent is talent. Everybody's that's going to play Division I, Power 5 has some form of talent. But what you have is something internal. And I'm not just saying that about the throwing up. What I'm saying is that shows me I want you in my foxhole, man. I want you there watching my back. That's that right there. Let me ask you this. Going through that, what kind of experience was that for you?
Yeah, so that was that's something you remember for the rest of your life. That's something that that group of team, that senior group of Huskies that we came together and we did that. We'll always remember that. We'll always be able to have that title. But something that's important to me that's always been instilled is you can't get complacent with what you've done. Yeah, that was such an amazing accomplishment for us. That was the highlight of our year. That's the coolest thing we could have ever done. But there's more to life, and this is the next challenge that I'm here with now with the Mountaineers and taking on this team and embracing them and hopefully making a crazier memory than that with these guys. So I will always remember that moment, but I'm focused on this time right here, right now.
Right on to that. Okay. I hear what you're saying, and I like what you're saying. But I want to know, but first is what kind of confidence, that was on ESPNU, by the way. I got that from ESPNU. What kind of confidence did that bestow in you? Or was your confidence always there? Did it add to it? Well, how did it help you matriculate to the next level?
Yeah. So, before this, you and I were talking about my dad, and he's been such a big part of instilling that confidence in me. I wrestled growing up all throughout high school, or all throughout middle school, and then a little bit into high school. And I think that sport's like nothing else. It's one-on-one. You're, just proving your dominance over another kid your age. So that was really something that helped me. And, confidence can be, I think it can be learned. I think it's something also people can be born with. I think it's learned through experience. The more challenging situations you're put in, the more, not so much life or death, but the more threatening situations you're put in, the more it'll either prove if you got it in you, or if you don't. Pressure makes diamonds, and so some people come through and others don't. So I think that everyone in this life has to go through hardships, and you have to go through challenges to see what you're really made for, and that's just something that's been instilled in me since I was young.
Dang, I never used the term, and I'm how old I am, right? Everybody knows I'm very old. Pressure makes diamonds. I don't think I've ever used that. That's pretty good. Tell me about your family, man. Because I think you're kind of like a lot like my family. I had two older brothers that played in the NFL. You had two older brothers that played in college, or I don't know how far they went. But tell me about your family.
Yeah, very similar. So two older brothers. One played at Texas A&M. The other one played throughout high school, and then went just working with my dad now in the concrete plant, and my dad's I'm sure he's told you about his Power Mini deal with the battery charger.
Hey, we put it out here, man. You're gonna see it. Yeah.
I love it. So yeah, my dad, he's always got. Oh, there we go.
Somehow you flipped upside down, so I'm gonna take it back off, buddy. I have no idea. Are you getting a head rush yet?
Not yet. You got me still?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So talk about your family.
Yeah. So yeah, my dad's always got something to keep him busy and keep him, occupied. So that's kind of his niche right now is these rechargeable batteries. But just a real persistent family, a real gritty family. We, even my mom, she's such a sweet a sweet woman, but you know, she's mama bear. She protects her boys, and like you said, you know, as you know, being the youngest of 3 boys, you grow up with a little thicker skin than the rest of the group. So I think my upbringing is a big reason to who I am too. When you're being picked on by your older brothers your whole life, and you're being challenged your whole life, you know, you got no choice but to fight back and be resilient. So my family is tough as nails. I wouldn't trade them for the world, and I know they always got my back, and we're a tight knit group for sure.
Okay. Hey, Nick, go ahead. Get off and then come back on.
Gotcha. Will do.
Okay, so that's Nicco. We got a little bit of an intermission, if you will. That's a really pretty interesting young man. And when we continue, I have some good stuff here. I think here he is. Your right side back up, buddy. Sounds good, man. I don't know what I did, but leave it to the WolfMan, myself, talking to third person to screw it up. All right,
but you're the one that fixes it too.
Yeah. I'm so technical. Okay, so you just tell me about your family, because you know a lot of it, Nicco. And I met your mom, and recently I know your dad. And the thing that we do, the ability is that we have to deal with older brothers, and older brothers can really be challenging, especially ones that are, I guess, more aggressive would be a good word for it, being in sports
Absolutely.
and all that, and help you along. And sometimes, you know, you get a little bit tougher because you get a little beat on as well. You know, I mean, so there's a lot to it. I think there's a little bit of you and I here being in kind of the same situation, although years and years apart. All right, so we'll go with that. Now, let's see. You moved on from high school, Hamilton High School. You're a Gatorade Player of the Year. You're a Husky, which is pretty cool. You came from Colorado. So what I want to know is getting on campus. What was it like for you? Because you graduated early and you came this spring early.
Yeah, so right when I got on campus, it was like I started back to my freshman year of high school again. It's like no one, you know, people know who you are, but like we were talking about earlier, you got to earn the respect of people. So I was right back at the bottom of the totem pole, and I was going to work my way up as far as my teammates, showing them what I could do. But I just remember my early memories of being on campus were the advice I got when I was coming from Hamilton was, you know, keep your mouth shut, don't have an ego, be the hardest working guy, and you know, earn the trust of your teammates. And I think there's very many different forms of leadership. There's authentic ways and there's non-authentic ways. I think the way that you build it up the most is by one, being the hardest worker. If everyone can look at you, no matter if you're the loudest guy in there, if you're the most quiet, if you're the most hardest working guy, then people got no choice to be like, you know, I can follow that guy into battle. So I think I've always prided myself in being the hardest working guy in the room. And, you know, that challenged me coming to West Virginia, because, you know, our strength staff and the things we endure are up there with some of the toughest things I've ever done. You know, I put our strength staff against anyone in the country. So the things, you know, it's definitely, when you're a young guy, you kind of have to figure out when the right time is to lead older people, because I'm coming in, I'm an 18, 19-year-old kid, and I'm supposed to be telling 24, 25-year-olds with kids, with wives and families, you know, to tell them what to do, getting on their butt a little bit. So that's challenging. That's a new challenge that I had to embrace, but that's what comes with leadership. So a big emphasis on when I was coming in is, okay, what's the right way to approach becoming a leader? How do I show these guys that I have their best interest and mine, you know? So it just trial and error is something that I went through, just, you know, hard.
Yeah. You know, it's tough, Nicco, because I got to imagine what you were just saying. I was just going to really talk to you about that, trying to tell older guys what to do. Because when I come in, you know, I could say I was a senior. I could remember back and some young guys, and you're like, whoa, you know, you got to earn that trust. Absolutely. You know, if you come in and I'm like, okay, you were great at Hamilton High School. I love what you said. He said, be quiet, be humble, but when it's time to exert yourself to lead, then it's time to go ahead and do so. And I think you're right there. You're right in the proper transition that you need to be. And so I really like what you got. You seem like your head's in the right spot. So that's just coming from an old dog, an old coach. coming up there. But and keep that about you. Do you know what I'm saying? Keep that about you, because when you lose that, you're gonna lose your brothers. Your brothers, you're gonna lose that. So I'm not really worried about you. I think that's important. So let's get right to this year and well, last year. Last question for about last year. Oklahoma State game, you really got a chance to get in there. Now, you didn't lose your redshirt year. Okay, you got redshirt last year, but you did get to go against a Big 12 opponent, and you did get a lot of repetitions. What was it like for you? What were your thoughts? And did it help you grow for yourself?
Right. Yeah. So it was interesting that whole week, that whole last, pretty much the last half of the season. That's when I started getting reps with the team. I started getting some team reps, and then there was a program after where I was getting all the, we called it the developmental reps for it. So I was getting close to, 70, 80 reps of practice, which was huge for my development. So, so I remember thinking when I went in, so Garrett went down the play where, he ran it up the middle and got hit. And then I heard that crack. And then I immediately looked to another quarterback on the sidelines. I was like, let's start throwing, let's get loose. And I was like, okay, if this is, this is God telling me this is my time, this is my moment, this is, opportunity comes at the most random times when you don't expect it. And of course it's going to come in the moment when it's pouring down rain. It's horrible, cold, and the ball feels like you're throwing a weighted football. And, it's like, okay, well, this is the environment I'm put in. Let's perform. Let's do what we know how to do. So, I remember, I just spent side story. I spent a lot of time in Arizona training with Brock Osweiler, and he was telling me a lot about Peyton Manning's preparation before games. And since he wasn't very gifted physically as far as speed or strength or anything, he beat everyone with his mind. So that's what I tried to hone in on is, okay, if I can outsmart the defense, if I can, predict where they're going to be, if I can tell them where they're going to be before the play starts, then, you got the answers to the test. So that was a real emphasis on me. That game was just, my preparation. Preparation is the thing that makes you feel you're the most secure about your success. If you prepare at the highest level, then you have no doubt in your mind that you're going to perform. So with great preparation, I went out there and I got the ball to the athletes. It's pretty simple. I did my job, and I got the ball to the people who can get to the edge and make the plays. So I just remember being so excited. I remember thinking when you got out there, these dudes are way bigger than you see on film. You're looking at some of the top players in the Big 12, and but the ball snapped, and you're like, you know what? This is just like I was doing in practice all week, just different color jersey.
It's so cool. Dude. I was watching, and I'm thinking to myself, oh man, coming on off the coast at Oklahoma State, it's not even at home. You're out there, and you're 19 years old, I believe, at the time, and you're a big guy now. You're 225. You can range anywhere from 222 to 230. I figure right now you're probably, what do you want to be now? Your weight, where do you want to be at?
Right in that range, 223, 224.
Okay, so you're right there. So you're a big guy. You're 6'1". You got some juice to you. You're left-handed. Do you feel like there's any advantage for you as a left-handed quarterback?
Absolutely. I think it's something the defenses have to prepare for. It's something that they got to think about. If all week you're prepping and you're putting your best corner on the defensive right, then or the defensive left. Sorry, then when it's game time, you come out there and you have a lefty quarterback and he's slicing the left side of your field. So it gives them another thing to think about. That's kind of the whole idea with trick plays too. Is let's just work on it. Let's just have it in our infantry. So if we need it, it's something they got to prepare for. So I think it definitely brings a different element of preparation to defenses. It's something you don't see all the time. I know it's something that our offense appreciates, because when you have a guy like Garrett and you have two totally different skill sets. So we can both go in there and make plays, and we both lead the guys differently, and we both have different strengths. So I think it's definitely an advantage.
And that's for sure. And we must admit it. It's like you're in a competition right now with Garrett Green, and we have a lot of respect for him as well. He's another teammate, another brother, and just like I look at you there, Nicco, and so it's good. I think it's healthy. I don't think you don't want competition. I think because I think iron sharpens iron. I believe you had that in the gym with Mike Joseph there. Iron sharpens iron. Just like the swords, and people do each other, and it's the same thing. So, all right, I'll get off my pulpit and stop the preaching. But let's move on to now. The last time I saw you was the day before the spring game, and you were on our show with the Country Roads Trust Brotherhood. Okay, the spring game happened. What have you been doing since?
Oh man, the spring game. So since then, I went back to Arizona with my family, and it's been a lot more. Like I was talking about earlier, the mental preparation. It's been a lot more mental grooming than anything. I've tried to really focus on the little things. If you can do the little things flawlessly, then and where they become unconscious, then that's when you make strides. So I've really honed in on just working on the basics, coverage, identifying coverages, protections, footwork, some like simple things like your run game footwork. If you can perfect those things, then it slows down the game just that half a millisecond. That's all you need at this level. So the details has been the emphasis this period from the spring game after. So and that's what this summer's for. What this summer is for us to get our timing with our receivers. It's for us to know the playbook like the back of our hands. It's for us to build trust. It's for us to shared struggles, like running the hill, doing these conditioning tests, doing all these hard things together. So when it's the fourth quarter, you can count on the guy next to you. So it's a big learning period for us, and we're embracing it.
Yeah, that's interesting. That opens up a whole line of thinking for me because, being an offensive line, I was a head football coach. So I know what plays are. I know this and I know that. But when you get into the particulars, like if I tried to tell a kicker what to do, I'd destroy him. Okay? I would say, just go ahead and make it, right?
Right.
But for you as a quarterback, how easy is it in your young experiences for you to forget your fundamentals a bit and get out of that groove? Is it easier or is it not?
Oh, absolutely. I think we have something called edge work, and coach describes it as it's something easy to do and it's something easy not to do. They're very, very easy things to forget about when, especially like you said, at the position we play, you have a million things moving at you. And I think I was just talking to my dad today about time management, how that kind of fits into it is the more you can focus on what's important now. That's what we take for WIN is the acronym, what's important now. If you can focus on what's right in front of you, then it slows down everything. So it's very, very simple. It's very easy to forget the simple things, but that's why you build a routine. That's why you get good habits. And the faster I can, hone in on those things, the better we'll be on the field.
You know what I like about you, Nicco, is that you've already taken but in your answers to my other questions, you also start to answer my other questions that I haven't even asked you yet. So you were moving along with this interview pretty good. It's really not an interview. I call this the conversation, the Marchiol conversation.
We're just having a conversation, yes, sir.
Just having a conversation. Okay, so let's see. You are in competition, and you are young, and you've already gone over all that, and I think we understand you very well with that. And I'm thinking, is what's your focus? Preparation, individually, offensive team, and then team.
For sure, yeah. Starting with the team, I think this is a period where we're going to kind of build our identity. Who do we want to be as an offense? I think we want to be a team who thrives in the red zone. I think we want to be a team who is very explosive. We have guys who can be explosive and out of the backfield with CJ. We have guys who will make the plays downfield like Devin Carter. So we want to be an explosion, and we want to be a sound offense. We want to be technically sound. We want to be fundamentally sound. We want to be a smart, controlled offense where we don't jump off sides. We don't have pre-snap penalties, post-snap penalties. We're very disciplined offense. I think those are some of the key points that we try to focus on. I think as an offense, so that was pretty much the offense answer. But team, I think we want to go back to the identity of the West Virginia people, where it's the blue collar fighters. You know, we're
Say what? You want to be a blue collar? Yes, this music to my ears. I absolutely love the team, and for you personally, Nicco, that you're coming. It's funny because I feel like you've been around for a while. I really do, because you were here for the early graduation, and you still have 4 years left. But you got to take them one at a time, because I promise you, young man, they go fast. They go really fast, and you have to make the most out of each and every year. And so I'm thinking to myself, what's your focus this year? As I know you're trying to be the starter, you're trying to lead a team, but where do you want to go personally yourself?
It's a great question. I think, it's something you think about all the time, but it's not, you don't have these definitive things that you want to work on. Obviously you want to become the starter. You want to win all your games throughout the year. But I think the biggest thing I've tried to focus on is stepping outside of my comfort zone a little bit, as far as leading my teammates and doing things with them that I don't usually do, having them see different sides of me. And that's just built up with spending time with them. I think, some of my individual goals is to build these relationships where they're just on my team for a year or two. This is a lifelong, relationship with these guys. So that's just built up with time spent together and shared struggles. So I think that the more I can get these guys to trust me, the more I can get them to believe in me and count on me, then the better we'll be off as a team. So that's kind of my main goal, is just to be the teammate that everyone wants to be around, be the guy that everyone wants to be off the field. And that's through doing the stuff that you don't necessarily want to do all the time. So I think they understand that. And
okay, so Nicco, I don't want to put words in your mouth. So you're saying, is a big part of your thing is you want to develop the relationship with your teammates and the trust being right. That you're saying, okay, cool. I like the answer very much. Although it doesn't really matter what I have to say, what I like or don't like. But I'm going to give my opinion anyways, because that's why I'm here. It's WolfMan's call. I'm making the call, man. Right? And that's the goal. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're a good young man. Okay, so let's get into the actual. Real quick, I just want to know is what's your actually daily routine like now?
That's something I've really started to take seriously, is good habits, good routine. So my routine now, we wake up roughly at the same time every day, around 6 a.m., 6:30, and then our lifts we're lifting every day, we're lifting every other day, and then we're running every other day. So like for example, today we had a big time lower body lift, and the offensive skill group, we lifted early in the morning. So 6:30, get to the facilities around 7, have an hour, a little over an hour, to get my body ready for the lift or for the run or whatever we're about to take on. And that includes pre-fueling whatever nutrients I want to get in. That includes weigh-in. That includes MIP is something we call muscle injury prevention. So that's you're stretching, you're going over the hurdles, your bands, all the good stuff. So we put all our time in these increments of like 4 hours, I'd say. So we'll go and get our lift done, and then the rest of the period, kind of until the afternoon or the evening until we eat, is edge work, like I was telling you about before. So that's when we work on the things that your individual needs. So that could be, if you're a guy that needs to work on speed, get some extra conditioning in, or get with Coach Mike and you work on ladder drills, stuff like that. So there's other, like for me, for example, like my emphasis has been, like I said, my drops. So that's a period where I go in and I'll work on, my run game footwork, my pass game footwork, where my eyes need to be on certain plays. I'll also use that period to do, some shoulder maintenance. Obviously recovery is a big part of it too. So the ice baths. But the biggest thing about our day-to-day routine is just that it's the more you can make it the same every single day, the easier it becomes, the more habitual it comes to where it's second nature. You're not thinking about, oh man, this ice bath is so cold, this run so hard, this workout so challenging, I'm sweating all this. This is my job. This is why I'm here. I'm going to focus on be where your feet are. This is what I need to do right now. Then I do this next thing, and then you really learn to enjoy the moments you have to yourself. Like when I get to come home and just be within myself, be with, when my parents are here, get to be with them. That you really learn to cherish those times. So just being in a good routine is so big for college athletes, I'd say.
That totally rocks. Dig your answers, man. I love being where your feet are because that's in the moment and that's making the most of every moment. Okay, so let's get to what you like, because I want to bring you back here and maybe go through some film work with you. I mean, and you tell me what you're seeing. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not going to be telling you what it is. You're going to be telling me right off the bat. But I think it's cool. So, last but not least, favorite passing routes. What are your combinations? What do you like to throw? What do you like to run? And the last of the questions for football, before we have a little bit of fun, is how committed to you are you running the ball as a quarterback and making the box more even in numbers?
For sure. I think it's the biggest piece of the run game you can have. If you have, you got to think about your running backs. Those are your main run threats, but then you got to prepare for a quarterback too. That's scary. So I think it's a big piece of my game that I'm going to be adding this season. It's something I've been working on since spring, since I got back from, since we started spring ball pretty much. It's going to be a huge piece of my game, because if you can, the defense play, bring 3 people and drop 8, and what's the one thing they still can't defend is the quarterback scramble, the quarterback run. So that's going to be a huge part of my game, as well as forcing the ball downfield. So my favorite routes.
Are they single routes? Are they combinations? What are they?
So a little bit of everything. I think if you're throwing to a guy like that, essentially your answer is going to be a post. I'm throwing a post to my big man up top. He's going to go make a play downfield. If you're throwing to a sneaky slot type of guy like Jeremiah Aaron or Preston Fox or Deshaun Polk, I like outbreaking routes. I like where you just got to get the ball on the outside shoulder and they make one man miss and then they're home free. So I like outbreaking routes to them. I like whip routes in the slots. I think with our more intermediate guys like Cortez or Hudson Clement, I like in breaking routes, right behind the linebacker. So your digs, your bang eights, your ones where you can trust a bigger guy to go in there and he can take a hit if he needs to and he can go make a play.
So when you say the bang eights, I see you getting all fired up, man. You're getting excited. I know I hit the right button, push the button on that one, talking about your routes combination. But there's one I want to go ahead because I know you're going to say, yeah, when you talk about your tight ends. What do you think? You got some big old tight ends there with some long old arms and probably hands that are big. And I'm speaking of Cole Taylor. I'm speaking of Traylon Davis. I can go down the whole line there. But you got some tight ends, man. How are you planning when you use them in your offense? And just everybody, not just you, but the offense.
Yeah, those are your red zone guys. Shoot, we may even put Cole Taylor out there one-on-one and just have him go make a play because he's so athletic. He's athletic enough to do that. Those are your secure catches. Those are your third down guys, your red zone guys. Those are a special position. You can put it. They have a wide catch radius, so that you put it pretty much anywhere and they're going to come down with it. The tight ends are, and like you said, we were very, very. We have some depth in the tight end room. We have a lot of different skill sets in the tight end room. So we can get a lot of different fronts, a lot of different formations, and have threats all over the field. So I'm really, really excited for that position. They're very useful in our offense too. So.
Okay, very cool. All right, I lied. I said a couple last questions. I didn't mean to lie, but I just keep bringing up more and more. Yeah. So when if you had to throw the ball to me and the game was on the line, what would you tell me to do? Would you tell me to do a post, or would you tell me to do a swing pass?
Well, where are we on the field? Are we red zone? Are we middle
I don't think it
field?
really matters.
Well, you know what? Even if we're on our own one, I might just take the one-on-one jump ball. Wolf against the world, man. Go up and make a play for me.
Yeah, because you know what? Vertical is my specialty.
That's
There's no doubt about it. All right, Nicco. Well, listen, I'm going to bring you back, man. We got some more stuff I want to talk about. I'd like to actually have you help me, train me to be more, to think more of a quarterback's mind. Because I think I was a defensive coordinator, offensive line guy, head coach. But I think I want to start learning what you're learning and know. You cool with that?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
All right. Well, okay. Well, let's first get this out here, man. Tell me about your 2023 Fowlsby thing going on as your guest speaker.
Yeah. So I met with the mayor last week, and they're hosting a dinner with some very notable people of Fowlsby, and they offered me to come be the keynote speaker for the event, and I know it's a very proud, just like anywhere in West Virginia, it's a very, they bleed gold and blue there. So it's a great opportunity for me to be with the community, meet the community, share a little bit about my story. I know I'm going to be talking about, what family means to me, what my heritage means to me, being Italian, and then coming into an Italian culture here in West Virginia. So just a wide variety of things, but David and everyone putting on that event has been very humbling for them to have me as the keynote speaker. So I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And I'm here. Listen up, Clarksburg, because I've been saying this since I called the spring game a year ago, not this past year, a year ago. Okay, it's Nicco's Italian Army, and he loves the pepperoni roll. He loves it, man.
That's my favorite right there. You should have seen me, Wolf. This weekend on the golf course, I was crushing them. I probably had 3 or 4 of them.
Oh, my goodness. All right. Well, you keep doing so, man. Keep on rocking. We'll talk to you soon. Nicco Marchiol, this is your exit music from now on. All right, man. Take care, brother. You have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much, Wolf. You're the man.
No, Nicco, I think you are the young man that is about to be the man for the Mountaineers, whenever that may come. And boy, I tell you, if you don't enjoy that with Nicco Marchiol, I'm just looking right here. I see Frank Fear. I'm so impressed with Nicco and what's happening behind the scenes to enable the team to be successful. You have to have a process and then trust the process if you want positive outcomes. Frank Fear, that's our Frank Fear guy on Monday, the hour of the author. Obviously, he's a historian. He keeps coming up with big things for the WolfMan's call, so that's really good insight there, Frank. And I'm just going to say this, man. I played that video of Nicco in high school, and I know it's high school. Don't worry about it. I'm not caught up in the fact that high school. But I'm going to tell you what it does. All I needed to do was watch that series of plays. He had 47 seconds to score 2 touchdowns. He is out there. He's throwing up. He's giving everything he's got. He's bleeding. All right, the announcers are telling him that the coach is going to take him out, that it's not his day. And the last minute, that's the guy you want, Mountaineers. Okay, whenever Nicco's turn is called, that's the guy you want in your foxhole. That's the guy you want playing your big games. Okay, that is character. That has nothing to do with talent. Okay, so understand what I'm saying here. This young man's got a lot to learn and experience and go through. But look how far he is already. And he's just 19 years old. That's all I got to say, man, about that. And Kelly McCord, great interview, Wolfman. Well, I'll tell you what, he sure makes it easy, doesn't he? Young, mature man like that makes it easy, and we're going to keep bringing him back. I've developed a friendship with his family, and I liked it. I want him to keep coming, and I'm going to bring some other young brothers on the show as well, because I think it's so valuable. Let us know what they think, and if they're willing to come on and come on the WolfMan's call, man, it's so cool. But Nicco right now is that I haven't met a young man like him with his maturity, his experience, with that, whatever you want to call that, inside you. Or maybe that's just called a winner. Maybe that's what it is, because maybe he won that game National TV, ESPNU. It was Hamilton, out there, high school, Arizona. I mean, it doesn't get much better, man. And coming out in the last minute, man, legends are made out of that. I bet you go back to Hamilton High School, they're all going to remember that for the rest of their lives. Okay, so let's move on here. And the next thing I want to talk about, we're moving on. Boy, I tell you, I just fired up. How about you guys, huh? I mean, seriously, that was so cool. Oh, yeah, let's do this because I promised everybody I would do this here. So we're going to jump on, subscribe to the Voice of College Football, West Virginia, on YouTube. That's how you get the Wolfman's Call, because it's the West Virginia football at the Voice of College Football. Why? Because Wolfman's Call rocks football. I think we just showed you why. We just rocked football with Nicco Marchiol. And if you're watching on Facebook, share it, man. Share it. Doesn't matter, even if you're not watching live, because it's stored all the time. And I know many of you watch it not live. But if you can't, just share it. Or if you're watching on Twitter, just tweet it. Pretty soon we're going to be coming from Instagram, and we're going to be getting some really cool stuff. So, Voice of College Football, West Virginia, YouTube, get it done. And I'm not going to go ahead and stop doing this. It's about right here with Game Changer, man, right? Game Changer. These guys, one pill can kill. It's GameChangerUSA.org. You know, I broadcast from Game Changer. It meant the world to me. And I think I really want to help and get involved. I think I already am getting involved. And this is just so, so cool. Now, I was going to get into the articles, I think. But I was waiting for the Keith Hawkins was going to go ahead and jump on. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put the link out here. And I want to know, does anybody want to come on? Anybody? I'm going to put the link out. This is only on Facebook now. Okay, you can go ahead and do this. But I think it's Facebook. Maybe it's YouTube. I think YouTube as well. So go ahead. Here's my link. You can come on and you can get on the show with me now. You can talk about Nicco. You can talk about what you want as long as you're respectful. But it's cool, man. We open it up to any subject you want to do it to. Anything you want. So if you want to come on, go ahead and jump on. And I think I'm going to go to an article. So, with that being said, this is kind of, well, it's good. This is a good thing. So let's get to it. And what do I got here? Is I'm looking at this right here. Let me put it up here. And right there. I tell you, I'm a master at this, aren't I? So, Washington, NCAA President Charlie Baker said Thursday he wants a federal law to regulate the way college athletes can be compensated for endorsement deals that creates a registry of deals, agent certification, and uniform contract standards. Baker hopes a bill can be passed through the House and Senate this fall because it's unlikely to get done next year during an election cycle. If Congress has come through, Baker says the NCAA needs to clean it up. Yeah, because you left it as a wild, wild west, and it's been chaos ever since. Now, Charlie Baker is he's the ex-governor of Massachusetts. I believe he served 2 terms over there. Not sure about that, but at least 1 for sure. And now he's the new president of the NCAA. But yeah, he is right now. If he could come and make sense of that, I'm not sure why whoever was in the NCAA before deciding this did not. But I think it's important. If you want to come out and talk about that, what's your thoughts? They have to get it settled. The NCAA has to get it settled and get it settled now. Okay, so I'll leave that up there. This is You Make the Call. I thought I had Keith Hawkins coming on. I guess I'm getting blown off today. And I had Maverick coming on, the Ranger, but he got called into work. Sometimes that work thing. And right here, I just heard from Keith. Okay, I see he got serious issues. That's all right. We'll just keep doing what we're doing, brother. No stress at all. Now, El Presidente here, Dave Porter. First of all, let me tell you, I think this guy's really smart. I think he's a good man. I think he helps out a lot of people, especially when they're struggling, like he did during the COVID. And I think he is funny. I really do think he's funny, and I think he's smart. But, he's saying is D3 football even worth playing? Well, The answer is absolutely D3 football. And I have a buddy, Mark Hudak, that I'm going to have on the show next week, is going to come out and talk about 1988. And he won with Ithaca up there at Ithaca College and the Division III championships. But let me tell you something, no matter what, as the NAIA, Division III, Division II, FCS, okay, FBS, whatever it is, you still get the football experience of college. Junior college, you still get the football. Remember, I was a head coach at junior college, and I sent my kids to all those. And you know why? Because even in Division III, you get into the most prestigious academic schools, usually they're Division III, or they're all up there. Okay, that's number one. And number two is they usually give you waivers. Now, you don't get scholarships in Division III, but if you're playing for football, they will give you waivers on the cost. So is Division III football worth it? And I'm going to get more into this with Mark Kudak, who's going to be able to tell you, and the pride that they have in Division III. But the benefits of NAIA, junior college, NAIA, Division III, 2, 1, FCS, all that are the same. It doesn't matter what level you are. You learn how to do things. You learn how to finish. You learn how to fight. You learn how to get up off the ground. And you can say you could do it in high school, yeah, but you don't do it as a man. And that's what you become when you go through college as a man. You become a man. And that's why you play the game of football. And it doesn't matter what level. For him to say that, I was a little disappointed. Listen, I'm not going to butcher the guy. He's very smart and he does great things. But I want to make sure everybody knows they're playing Division III football, playing NAIA, okay, playing junior college, playing Division II. It's all worth it, especially if it helps you pay for your education. Division III, once again, you get waivers on your tuition. It's like a scholarship. It's like they do things for you. Division II, you get full scholarships between academics, and they work all these things because you're a football player. Or if you're any athlete that's in sports, they'll do that. So, yeah, all these other sports, and just the fact that no one sees the game is obviously he didn't play it or doesn't understand it, because what you get from there is the benefits are unmistakable. All right, so I see is Keith Hawkins is here. He said he's having some issues. Let's see. Keith, are you there? Hello.
I am here. Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you, buddy. What's
me?
going on? Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. We're having some technical difficulties here in South Charleston. They're doing some electrical work. It's messing with everything.
You can't fix that?
Well, I could, but I don't know that their union would let me cross over into theirs.
Oh, hey, listen, I ain't here to piss off any unions, get anybody all worked up. So we're going to keep it right here and do the best we can. If you disappear, you disappear. I'll finish without you. But so let's get right at it then. What do you think about right there, what I just said, real quick, briefly, about those two things? Did you hear what I said about with Charlie Baker, the president, the NCAA, and then with El Presidente?
Yeah, well, yeah, the NCAA really has dropped the ball with this NIL, and I think putting some sort of infrastructure in there to control it. But I think we all feel the same on that. They've got to get some guidelines, and unfortunately, it's probably going to end up with being the federal government getting involved.
Well, it could be. And, I will say this. Joe Manchin was a Mountaineer, played for WVU, and he got hurt. So he was on the team, but he really wasn't a player. But he went through the two-a-days, so he deserves to be acknowledged to be on that team. He was there for a year. And I think if anyone could understand it, he might be able to. I'm not going to get into politics. I'm not going to care who's a Republican, who's a Democrat. I'm saying is he may understand it coming from where he's come from. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Joe, Joe's one of those guys. He can get things done. He knows how to work both sides. He's pretty good at what he does.
Okay. So what do you think about El Presidente, Dave Portnoy, talking about Division III? And honestly, you saying, is it worth it playing? And my thoughts, I just blew my mind. What's your thoughts, Keith?
Well, that's silly to even say. I mean, everybody that plays the game of football has a passion. And if they have an opportunity to play at the next level, regardless, if it's NAIA, D3, D2, whatever it is, they should have that opportunity to play and to get an education by playing football. It's well worth it. I watch a lot of NAIA football around here locally, UC, State. It's exciting football, and these kids are out there working hard. They're playing hard. They want to win. They deserve that opportunity just like everybody else.
If you put in the time, if you feel the pain, if you are there and you're running sprints, I don't care if you're NFL, I don't care if you're XFL, USFL, Cal Power 5, G5, all the way down. It's the same. It's the same. Keith, when I was a head coach at junior college, junior college, way down from Division I, but you structure it the same because I was a Division I guy and a coach. I knew how to structure my coaching staff and program like Don Nealon did because that was the guy that I learned from. And all that was really different was the money. Obviously, the talent level was different, all this, but the relationships are the same. Your relationship with an offensive coordinator is the same as anyone in Power 5. So from a head coach to an offensive coordinator. Your relationship to a player as a head coach really is the same because it's the same kind of, I don't know what you put them into. It's your podium. It's your base, that's your platform. I'm the head coach. You're going to talk to me a certain way as a player, and I'm going to talk to you a certain way. So I really think that Dave Portnoy's great. I hate saying this because I love the guy. He makes me laugh like 95% of the time. But this got under my skin.
Well, every now and then we all say stupid things. And
me?
Not you? Okay. Hey, that's the beauty of the lie, Dale. The beauty of the lie is you can tell it any way you want because it's your lie.
It's my show, too.
It's your show. Yeah, you call the shots. You're the shot caller. Exactly. But yeah, back to what you were saying there, Dale. It doesn't matter what level. You, as a coach at a junior college, are doing the same thing that Nick Saban at Division I Alabama is doing. You're teaching and molding young men. You're teaching them how to deal with life, how to overcome adversity, how to be part of a team, how to work together. You learn so much from the game of football. I don't know if people realize just how much you learn about life by going through the struggles of football.
Mm-hmm. That's the truth, and there's no doubt. So I think, I'm going to bring, like I said, I'm going to bring my buddy Mark Hudak on. 1988, Ithaca College. He won the national championship, and they're putting him in the Hall of Fame this year. His whole team, I think, and him as well. And I mean, he's still jacked up about it. They still go back there and have the Stags Bowl up there in Yankee Stadium every year. I mean, there's so much that goes on in Division III football. That's great. I mean, there's just, I can't listen. It's just too much. I could be here for 2 hours talking about this. I'm not gonna do that. That's not why I brought you on the show. I brought you on the show because you wanted to talk about what?
Let's talk about culture today.
Culture, all right.
I think you had it on the show yesterday. You had the picture of the player, and forgive me, I don't remember his name, but basically the caption said that he was blown away by the culture at WVU.
Oh, it's the new commit. Yeah. I can't remember the name of the guy, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So, of course, I'm not in the locker room. I'm not at practice, but I think my question is, I had put this on Facebook yesterday, I think after the show, and said, what is a culture? What does it take to develop a culture? Can a coach come in and create a new culture? Can you have a culture with NIL in the transfer portal? Or, as silly as it sounds, do players today, do they even need or want a culture?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Number one is that, yes, they want a culture because everybody wants to have guidance over them. Everybody wants to know the directions. Nobody wants to be lost and say, where do I want to go? Where do I go? Where do I fit in here? Where do I want to go? And I think I saw somebody say at one time that you can't have a culture with this name, image, and likeness in the transfer portal. And it's like, yes, it is more but wait a second. I mean, you have free agency in the NFL, and I'll just go to my Buffalo Bills. At one time they're called the Bickering Bills because they had issues. But this has been the last 2 years. I haven't seen a team more together than trying going as one. So you can have a culture, even though money is at the highest of levels, that free agencies at the highest of levels, you can develop a unit. I didn't bring on Nicco and put on, just saying about what my brother Ponyboy, Ron Wolfley, says about, you get enough dogs in a locker room, even the cats meow. Now, that's a funny saying, but the truth is the truth. That if you get enough people saying, this is the way we're going to be, then even the guys that aren't exactly out there leading or maybe not the toughest or whatever, if you get enough dogs and going in one direction, those others have to follow or they won't make it. That's the thing. They either have to, the cat's got to stop meowing and start barking, or they're not going to make it on the team because you need to have it. And maybe that's been kind of the problem with the transfer portal departure, is that there have been people that have not sought to be part of the locker room of dogs. And maybe that's a problem. And I came upon this myself, and I kind of stumbled upon it. And I thought to myself, these young guys and developing a hard edge, sometimes you need senior leadership. And if you keep losing in the transfer portal, the seniors, Taj Alston, Jordan Jefferson, those would have been leaders on the defense this year that we have. And so these young guys, Sean Martin's got to step up. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, so how do we deliver the sense of urgency? How do we do it? How do we get there? Because the more dogs you got barking, the less cats are going to meow. So we're saying that. That's what our saying is. So how do we get the Mountaineers to have a culture? Yes, you can have a culture with name, image, and likeness. Yes, you can have a culture with transfer portal. We're saying if you think you can't have a culture with that, then you don't understand the game of football. Because when you have a culture, is an offensive line, they're a group, they're a unit. The running backs are a group, a unit. Okay, you can put the tight ends probably with the offensive line in this offense that we have here, the wide receivers. Okay, you put them all as an offense. That could be a culture. That's a culture that Chad Scott right now is developing. And I always said that I thought Chad Scott would be a really good offensive coordinator. Not just in the fact of him calling plays, or if he's not calling plays, or whoever is calling plays. It doesn't matter, because whoever does the pregame prep, whoever's building during the week, that's your culture. Absolutely, you can build a culture on offense. Absolutely, you can build a culture on defense. And absolutely, you can build a culture on special teams, even if it's only the top 44, if you know what I mean. 11, 11, 22, and then, second team. Even if it's that, let's just say we get down to the basics of that. But that's your culture. But they all 44 got to be involved. I remember Rich Rodriguez used to say, hold the rope. Hold the rope, right? Well, that's what you got to really do. I mean, you come up with anything you want, any slogan you want of together and unity, if you're outgoing. But here's the deal. If you got dogs that bark loud enough, aggressive enough. Maybe your example is that you got to show by example. Maybe I'm looking at a Zach Frazier saying, listen, I don't know how much of a cheerleader he's going to be, but man, he's going to knock people's heads out, right? We're just going to do that.
Exactly.
Maybe you get a Doug Nestor, who I think is probably a little more vocal, and saying, hey, guys, pick up your stuff or we're going to, knock you down. What about Nicco? What about Garrett Green? I mean, I'm seeing with Nicco, you just saw, I don't know if you saw with Nicco because you were having problems, but that kid is that kid's already figured out how to try to take command of guys that are older than you. I mean, I got to tell you, man, when I was a freshman, I don't know if I ever walked in a situation and said, well, I got to command these guys and that. I'm not sure. That's a maturity that I see. And then that's not taking anything away from Garrett Green. It's not the same. What I'm talking about is the culture. And I'm sure with Garrett Green that it would feel the same way. And the running backs, whoever it is, C.J. Donaldson. I mean, he's just a youngin'. He's a freshman sensation last year and had only 7 games in. And this year, he looks even bigger. Remember him at the showcase before the spring game? He had packed on 8 pounds of muscle. 8 pounds of muscle. I mean, where's that going to take his game this year? But again, what's his maturity level here? Because the older guys have kind of gone, have kind of left. And that's what they have to overcome. So here's what I'm saying, okay, is that we have challenges on this football team. I'm not going to go away from it. I'm going to go reality. We have real challenges, especially on the defensive side. And I'm going to look at guys like Lee Koba, who I got a lot of respect for, who's already earned his respect by his play, that he's got to be loud in that locker room. He's got to bark loud and then be able to bite it if he has to back it up. You know what I mean? You got to be able to bite.
And that, and I wonder inside that locker room right now, how many guys are barking and how many guys are leading by example?
How many guys are meowing?
Yeah, well, obviously, if you're not barking or leading by example, there's a lot of purring and meowing going on.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. And let me ask you this, Dale, while we're talking culture, and I get everything you're saying, and I agree. This team has got some big hurdles, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So if we have a culture, and I read a little article this morning, and it was Don Nealon talking about Aaron Beasley and how he would come out Monday through Thursday like an airplane, buzzing, running on the field. He was always excited to play. And Coach Nealon even said a few times he would mimic him and do the same thing.
I saw it.
Did you see that as well? All right. That is, to me, that is the epitome. That is the pinnacle of culture right there.
Wait a second. You know what that is? You know what Bees was doing by that in a plane to kill a bees? He was
the kamikaze.
No, he was barking.
Okay, barking. Yeah, okay, barking.
That's what he was doing.
Now, with that being said, is there a difference between a team's culture and a team's identity? Because I think your culture can always stay the same, but a team's identity may change from time to time. You know what I mean?
I don't. For WVU, I don't think it's going to change for the skill guys, like just all skill. I think your culture builds your identity. So
okay, that makes sense.
I don't think your culture is your culture, and that leads you to your identity. Are you a tough guy? Are you a tough team? Are you hard edge? Is it like I did yesterday where I showed you our old ways of football? Everybody lines up and they try to rudabog each other out. They try to rudabog, get underneath each other, right? The strain, the power, okay? All that. They weren't going anywhere. They weren't doing this. They weren't running here. They weren't playing the games. It was man on man, hat on hat. Now, you're going to run the ball. We're going to run the ball. And we're going to run the ball. And guess what? You got to stop us. And we're telling you, we're going to force our will on you. And they're telling us they're going to force their will on me. That's your identity. That's your culture that led up to that. And I'll tell you, those Syracuse guys, they were tough as nails. They were tough.
Oh, yeah.
But that's who you are. So your culture builds your identity. And if you change it and you keep changing it, then you don't know who the heck you are. Because if you're going to be this year, I'm not going to be this hard-edged team. We're just going to we're going to go spread out, and we're going to be, more passing, soft. Well, no, that's you can't keep changing that. Now, you can change to the plays to what your talent is, and that's what Dana Holgorsen did. But Dana Holgorsen did not have great success until he learned the hard edge. Sometimes you got to be able to run even when the numbers in the box are not in your favor. You have to still run, and you still have to be successful to run to be successful. That's what we're talking about. Even though it's 7-on-7, we're still coming at you, and you learn, and you got to train that, and you got to practice that. That doesn't come from like, well, we're going to do this, guys. That's your culture of building it. That's your culture of practicing it. That's, in fact, I can remember that Steve Dunlap would go ahead and Coach Nealon would put 12 or 13 guys on defense on the goal line. And he would make us run the ball. We're just saying, we're coming at you. In fact, Don Nealon would say, hey, we're coming over Wolf's butt. We're coming over Wolf's butt. And the 13 guys are like, you got defense, and they're all swarming to my butt. And what didn't make me real happy, okay? But because there was a lot of punishment going that way. But that's what he taught us. And you had to learn how to run. And that's your culture building your identity. I don't think you can have one not the same.
Well, and that's very well said, Dale. And I think maybe that you may have stumbled or alluded to a problem that I think West Virginia has right now. I don't know that they have an identity. I don't even know most of the time from week to week what their identity is.
Well, again, that is what my opinion has been, is that I'm not sure either, Keith. And I think talking to Nicco, I felt a lot better because he's telling me, a young man that I respect, okay, a young man, so he's got to be getting it from somewhere there, right? Well, if that's what they're trying to build, that's great, and offense. But now you got to figure out how to get guys that aren't together. The offensive line's been together. The running backs, for the most part, you got Triple J back there, Donaldson and White now is brand new. But, you got some new tight ends. You got some old tight ends. But you got a lot of new receivers. And you could build that. But on defense, man, you got who's not new? Lee Coba's 1 year. Sean Martin, there's a guy. And I have a lot of respect for his play. And I think he can be really special. But he's one guy. One guy. And if you look at the losses, would Akeem Metzger just been graduating, right? Or would he had another year? Just another year. What do you think about it? Jordan Jefferson, Taj Alston had another year. And all that experience is gone.
And that's what makes it so tough, Dale, when you see these kids come in, even if it's a player that comes from the portal, but coaches dedicate so much time and effort into developing these kids and working with them. And just when you think you're on the brink of something, this kid's this is going to be his year, and then he leaves. That has got to be crushing to the coaches. I mean, it's got to take a toll on them.
Well, it does, and I'll tell you what. I think they're probably a little more used to it. But there's, Mike Joseph. Nobody works harder than that guy and invests everything he has in his players, and I know that's got to really hurt him. But that's really a subject for another day. And we're already over an hour because I went so long with Nicco.
Hey, it was well worth it, man. That kid's special.
I'll tell you, that kid is funny. He's special. When I saw that tape, I know I keep making a big thing. High school's gone. It's way gone for him. But you don't see that every day. You don't see what he did every day. I'm going to tell you a quick story. I've seen guys come in when I was a head coach at junior college, and you get guys that would come in, and they're probably all juiced up on steroids, all this, all that. They come in, and they look like they're just ready to tear the house down. And I'm like, oh, yeah. All right, let's get this guy going. He looks tough as nails. But this is what I did, Keith. I said, listen, I want you to take a helmet, and I want you to pick out a face mask. And if you're a defensive lineman, I want to see what you pick out. If you're an offensive lineman, I want to see. If you're a running back, I want to see. If you're a linebacker, I want to see. But by golly, if I didn't get these dudes that would come in defensive line, offensive line, and they're picking running back face masks. That told me all I needed to know, brother, is that, yeah, you know what? This dude is not going to be tough. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to end it with that. A little story as a head coach. But you know what, man? If you want to be tough, you got to walk the walk. You got to talk the talk. You got to live it. If you want to be tough, you have to do it. You have to learn it. It's not something as a team, as a unit, an offensive, defensive unit. You have to practice it. You have to instill it. You have to, as a coach, be there saying, you're not tough enough. Hey, you know what? Bill Kurlavich, me, when I was a freshman. And I actually went there and played. I lettered as a freshman on the offensive line. Very unusual. Go ahead and letter, and I played a lot. But Bill, during camp, Bill Kurlavich, defensive line, Wolf, you're not tough enough. You're not tough enough. And then he'd add a few more words in there that I'm not going to repeat. But, he's calling me this and that. I'll tell you what he did. You know what he did to me? He made me tougher. He put a chip on my shoulder, and I came back, and even though I was still light in the can because I was a freshman, and Scotty Summits was 300 pounds, or Chris Parker was 290 pounds, or David Grant was 300 pounds, a second-round draft pick in the NFL, or whatever it may be, no matter what, I had to come back tougher because those guys demanded, the coaches demanded. The coaches didn't ask for it. They demanded it. Or you're not going to survive. So if you're not barking, you're meowing, and you're not going to be there. That's what I'm trying to say. That it is in a nutshell. And I'm saying it over and over again, but if you're not hanging around, and that's where you got to build your nucleus. And yes, you can build that culture. Yes, you can build that identity with the transfer portal and NIL. And it will get better if you figure out how to keep the people there and develop them along as well. It's still a whole new process. But if you can do that, that's when you're really going to start making it and learning it. There's still a learning curve for everybody, transfer portal, NIL. Unfortunately, it seems like we've had to learn a lot and lose a lot. But let's see what we can do, and let's see. But you got to demand it. Demand that they're barking. All right?
Absolutely. It starts with that desire. It starts with the player and then works its way up.
All right.
I agree.
All right, brother. Well, that means only one thing. That means that Traylon Davis is going to be coming on right now, and he's going to be saying goodbye to you. Parmar Stores, we thank you. We are going to be getting a whole new crew of sponsors here. Really excited. I can't wait to tell you about it. Hopefully next week we'll be ready to present them. We'll have Hillary Jeffries next week from the National Football Foundation. Don't forget Keith, Aaron Beasley, Jim Carlin, Randy Moss. Again, I'm not really worried about Randy Moss getting into College Football Hall of Fame. Not really worried about him. I will tell you this, Jim Carlin deserves it. He also coached at Texas Tech for a long time. And we all know that Bees, Killer Bees, going out there, acting like he's flying around, getting Coach Neyland flying around. But he was barking, man. In reality, it was him barking about football. And we need to get him into the College Hall of Fame. Is there anything you'd like to add? The Z girl want to add anything there?
Zoller, do you want to say anything? Yeah, the whole family just walked in on me. It's a big party now.
You tell Z girl.
I think Zoller does want to say hi. Hurry, step over here and tell Dale hi.
Hey, Dale.
What's up, honey? How you doing, Z girl?
Awesome.
All right, honey. You look wonderful. Good to see you. But I got to tell you, we got to go. All right? You have a good night. We'll see you now. Thank you, Keith.
All right,
good talk, man.
All right, buddy.
See you. Bye.
Yes, sir.
Hi, I'm Traylon Davis. I'm from Jackson, Ohio, and when I'm back home, you will find me at my local Parmar store.
We have that gold and blue pride at your local Parmar store. We are coming to your neighborhood soon. West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Maryland, we have you covered. Download the Parmar app and sign up for the Parmar Rewards Card. Food, gas, groceries, and more, we are gold and blue proud, and we are Parmar stores.
If there's not a Parmar store near you now, there will be soon.